Hello and welcome to the Neale Bayly Rides YouTube channel. He's Dave Collier.
And you're Neale Bayly.
And we're here again. So on today's show, we have some particularly interesting things to share with you. Obviously, we'll go straight to the BMW in the room.
Yes, very beautiful BMW in the room here by Tattoo Moto, put together by a friend of ours, Rudy, who left us far too early, but left a bunch of beautiful motorcycles for us to admire, so we can expand on that a little bit later.
Yeah, and my young friend Gray, who now is the caretaker of the bike, is going to come in, give us a bit of history about the bike, and chat a little bit about Rudy, our friend, and the life and work that he did around these motorcycles. We have a pretty
awesome, amazing shameless plug from Team Charlotte Motorsports.
Yeah, so we're going to take you outside for that. Nate will be here. I think he's just tuning up his lawnmower.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. And you are going to be reading the news.
I have some news. I actually have some news content this time.
Is it real news?
Not just, random stuff about my colon.
All right, so if anyone was worried, you're not constipated, are you?
I'm less constipated than last time, which I'm real excited about.
Every episode, it just helps. So without further ado, let's get to it.
All right.
Well, welcome, Gray. Neale Bayly Rides YouTube set. So, Gray Van Dyke, you are here with a 1973 R75/5 BMW that is not anywhere like an R75/5.
Not even close.
Anymore. So, Gray and I met about, 5 years ago?
Yeah, thereabouts.
When you were in college and you did some interning, did some photo work for me. So, you've been a pretty passionate photographer, motorcyclist, traveler, college person. And your father's actually a very passionate motorcyclist too, right? So anyway, Gray and I met about 5 years ago, and our good friend Rudy, who had Tattoo Moto, you started dating his daughter. How many years ago was that?
Yeah, so right about the time I met you, actually, I started dating Gracie. And funny story, the first time I went over, actually, he was right under a Fox Body Mustang, working on it, cut off shirt and everything. I roll up, khaki shorts, looking dapper, hair slicked back. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Banny. Quite the impression, had some work to do.
Right, so now you've got the right haircut, you've got the right t-shirt, you've got the right wardrobe, right?
Safe to say he rubbed off on me.
Oh, that's fantastic. So he passed away, about a year ago?
A little over a year now.
And you had, when you were in college, one of your jobs was helping him get this ready for restoration to put it into the condition it's in, right?
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, Rudy actually picked up this bike from a gentleman who had ridden it all over Europe, actually. He bought it in Germany and rode like 50,000 miles and then brought it back to the States and parked it for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And so, obviously it was in nowhere near running condition when he picked it up, and I'd been interested in getting into the bike scene, and so I had reached out, spent time around his house and was like, hey, can I hop in on this? And so he put me to work doing all the grunt work, trying to salvage what we could of the original bike. Meanwhile, he was doing all the fine detail.
Now, just to sort of get the circle going, didn't you intern for a little while with Nate?
I did, yeah, actually in high school. So
Nate, that'll be get off your lawn, Nate. So
I interned with Tutopia doing similar kind of detailing work, kind of the shop intern, the mule. But Nate taught me a ton.
Yeah. So you were working on the bike. So just to start at the end and go back to the beginning. So you now are actually the caretaker of the bike. Is that the correct term?
That's what I would say.
So the family wanted you to make sure the bike is looked after.
Yeah.
And people get to see it and enjoy it.
Exactly. So I'd say caretaker's kind of the perfect word for it. Ownership's too strong. And I would say, if anything, taking care of his bikes is really allowing me to keep connected with Rudy.
So all the bikes are being...
They are. Yeah, we just got back all the bikes. Got 5-6 of them lined up in a chopper that hasn't seen the light of day yet.
Is it running and ready to go?
It is not, but the rest of them are perfectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another interesting thing is, so you told us in the beginning this is an R75/5, so basically 750, but it's now actually 1,000 cc.
Yeah. So Nate actually bored out the engine to 1,000 cc, and you can tell.
So again, part of that connection, Nate did all the engines for Rudy on the BMW.
He did, and he did a lot of the early electrical work, some of the fab stuff.
So tell us just, top to bottom, I mean, what are some of the features of this bike? 'Cause, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. I can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, so I would say the biggest thing about the bike would be the wheels. They were a pain in the ass for Rudy to get his hands on. He went through 3 sets of wheels before you get to the set that you see now.
What is so special about the wheels, Gray?
Nothing in particular. They're actually stock wheels, but he lost a pair in the mail, and the most they were going to give him was $100. And so he looked on eBay, scoured the,
Because they're original R75/5
yeah.
wheels, so they're not just, you can't just run down and
No,
pick up a
definitely
set.
not.
Okay.
So looked on eBay, found the set, got those back. Not of the caliber that Rudy would use. So sent those back. 3rd time's a charm, got this set. But yeah, apart from that, I would say the handlebars are the biggest thing you notice.
I mean, they're really wide, aren't they?
But yeah, it feels like a couch rolling down the road in the best way.
But there's just so many nice touches when you look at the small, I don't know if you can see with the cameras, very, very small turn signals. The mirrors are in the headlight where the old turn signals would have been. But you still preserved the original look of the...
Stock headlight bucket, stock gauges, stock ignition. It's a resto mod in the most tattoo way it could be.
Shorty fender on the front.
Chopped subframe in the back.
So that is. And has it got the LED lights that run around the back of the seat?
Yep. Yeah, so we had the seat upholstered by Larson Upholstery out west. He loved their stuff, and so it's got an integrated tail light.
So tell me a little bit about that exhaust system. That is rather unmuffled would be a word.
Yeah, unmuffled is right. So it's right, kind of by your ears. You hear all of it. Your ears are left rattling for a while afterwards. Yeah. Early onset deafness.
That's excellent.
And I would say, actually, it was funny. Gracie and I were out on a ride out, kind of doing the airport loop in Charlotte.
So it is. So you do have passenger footbrakes?
Yeah.
Right to it.
That was the whole purpose of this bike. Actually, was be something different from Rudy's normal builds. It could be something that'd be casual, comfortable, and you could take somebody along for the ride. Actually, and so on this particular ride, we were heading out to the airport, and on our way back, we saw the clouds starting to darken. And got progressively worse, and I don't know, we're about a quarter of the way back, and hail just unleashes on us, like to the point where you can't see the road, everybody's pulled over, and we're just trying to make our way back, hoping the bike will do it. We get to the point where we're, on right by a gas station, and the pipes just drop off right into the road. And so I drop the bike in the gas station. Gracie's sitting there minding it, and I sprint back into the road. These pipes are sizzling from the hail that's hitting them. I've got my gloves, just like trying to grab them and like juggle them back. And we just like knocked them in and rode soaked home.
I think probably every time you go on a bike like this, you have an adventure, don't you? That's tell me about the tires. I mean, I look at that. I mean, how does it ride with those tires? Yeah,
so you got your Firestone Deluxe Champions on there. Very
Firestone Deluxe Champions.
Very divisive tire, I would say, especially on the forums and everything. And so they're great aesthetically, and if you can get used to the ride, I'd say they're great. They're very pillowy.
It is. It's just a beautiful bike, really. Well, great. I know you got stuff to do, and we have to get along. I'm sure Basil's probably in there doing some push-ups and getting ready to do the news. So thank you for bringing the bike. Really nice that we could, we'd originally wanted to have Rudy involved with us. He used to come over to Thursdays. If you want to learn more about the bike, you can go to Pipeburn.
Yep, all those bikes are up on Pipeburn, Bike Exif, and they've still got an Instagram running at Tattoo Custom Motorcycles.
Yeah, so we can put a little tag at the bottom, and you can see more pictures of the bike. So thank you.
All right, hello. I am David Basil Collier, and this is the news. First in the news, coronavirus still rages. But we have motorcycles. CMP is repaving. It's going to be really smooth. Little less wear on your tires. I think you'll enjoy that. Get on down there to Kershaw, South Carolina. Enjoy the Carolina Motorsports Park. One thing that Corona can't ruin So get on down there. This just in. Thank you. From Australia. Still heaps and heaps of Rona down here. We're using as much sanitizer as we can, heaps and heaps. But it's way too much Rona. So that sucks. And that's kind of the vibe everywhere. But you know, let's stay strong. We'll get through this. What else is in the news? I'm wearing my pants, which means 6 more weeks of summer and a fully bloated full moon. So get out there and ride at night. Feel the breeze in your hair. Enjoy yourself. That's the news. Good night.
So welcome to Shameless Plug. We have a rather large object to plug this evening.
It's bigger than that helmet.
It is, yeah. That's not very funny. But anyway, we have a 2020 Moto Guzzi V7 loaned to us from T. Colwell. You might remember T from a previous episode where we had the V85 Moto Guzzi in the studio.
You were Charlotte Motorsports, thank you very much.
Oh, you got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, he wrote it down. Do you remember that? He bought the Moto Guzzi and you were drunk probably,
No,
right?
I was not.
You don't
I
remember?
was fine. I was here. I totally remember that.
But anyway, so we took the V85 back in one piece, and he said, why don't you try this one out? And really, what do you think? Dave took a little spin here earlier.
I really enjoyed this bike. I was a little thrown off by how quick the clutch releases on the gravel here. But yeah, you get out on the pavement, and it's like a little gunslinger, man. It's like ready to go, like immediate torque. All the controls are just nice, like refined. It's, you know, everything's right there where you need it, when you need it. Went into that curve down there at Brooks Motorcycles, totally confident to get in there. And it has all these nice, like, kind of bespoke touches, you know, like the leather here and
Bespoke. Did you hear that? That's
bespoke.
Yeah. Great word, Baz.
Which I like, you know. I mean, it sets it apart from your typical kind of street bike. And so, you know, I wasn't out on it for very long, but I really, really enjoyed it. What about you?
Excellent. Yeah, I think everything you say about the details, I mean, really is stylistically, it's superb, you know. I don't like that it has Öhlins suspension on the back and an unadjustable fork on the front. So the good thing, it's very retro. It's like putting the brakes on in 1973 or something.
Is that sarcasm?
I think it is, yeah. I could have just said it's a bag of shite, right, when you put the brakes on, but that's...
No, plenty of brakes.
Brakes are good, forks not. Nate and I were chatting about this yesterday, and he did a fork modification. There's no preload, no rebound, it's just a straight spring in there. So if you're used to something a bit more modern, it's squishy.
Yeah, but I don't know. How many people are used to something that modern and that tech? For me, everything was fine. But maybe I'm just not as much of a nerd as you are.
But that's my only complaint. Like you said, light clutch, easy to use.
Yep.
It's, I mean, nicely powerful. What's cool for me is the shape of the tank and the engine. Back in 1981, I bought an original 850 Moto Guzzi Le Mans. And if you trace the bike back, it really, same V-twin, same gas style, it really has changed very little other than the modernization. So it's kind of a nice historical piece to me. Go back to being a kid and riding my old 850.
Yeah. And you know, for having clip-ons, it's surprisingly comfortable too, I think. Like it didn't, you know.
Bars are up high enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like really natural
Feet aren't
riding
too far
position.
back.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually can take a passenger on the back. You just there's a couple of fasteners, pop that off.
Take that off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very, very sweet little bike. So we're going to have it for a couple of weeks, going to have some fun with it, do some photography, ride around and enjoy it. And thank you, T. Colwell at T's Eurocycles for giving us another free bike.
Heck yeah, man. Good stuff here.
Greetings. I'm Nate, and this is Get Off My Lawn. First off, I want to thank everybody for their gracious comments, ideas, and general support of what we're doing here. I haven't seen a lot of that, but I expect it'll follow at some point. Last week, we did a lot of griping about things customers do in the industry that really drive us crazy. Well, I don't want to disappoint anyone, so let's continue that. There's been something that's been weighing on my heart that I want to get out. Griping about price. Come on, people. If you feel like you were really overcharged and got poor work, I get that. I get that. And we want to make sure you're happy and everybody's in that happy zone. But if you pick your bike up for an oil change and say, well, gee, for an oil change? Let's discuss, okay? I want to break this down a little bit so that everybody can understand why your oil change is a couple $100, okay? First off, you're comparing it to your car. You can ride down any street in America and find some kind of Jiffy Lube or the like and have your oil changed for $25.99 or whatever the lost leader deal of the day is. So let's start there. It's a lost leader. They're losing money doing your oil change so that they can upsell you on other stuff, okay? You're never gonna go in there and get an oil change for $25. And if you do, what do you get? You're getting a young feller who's basically untrained and unskilled. Not saying they're bad. You get what you pay for. Let's be honest. Second, and the most important to me, it's your car. You got four wheels, everything around you. What happens if one of your tires deflates while you're driving? You pull off the side of the road and you call your AAA or whatever. Some guy comes and fixes it for you, okay? What happens on your motorcycle when that happens? A big truck with lights flashing is gonna come get you. So perhaps the person that you have doing your work on your motorcycle should take a little more time and make sure that you're safe when you're leaving, okay? Do you want your aircraft mechanic to be working at a Jiffy Lube? Just think about that for a minute, all right, will you? All right, moving on. Number 3, it's not a car. You can't drive your motorcycle over a pit and have some guy under there waiting. It's not how it works, okay? I go over every part of that bike to check certain safety parameters so that you, the end customer, can have an enjoyable ride and be safe. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, but I also want to make sure everybody gets off my lawn.
That's it. That's a wrap.
It's over.
We did it. We featured a super rad BMW Airhead from our pal Rudy from Tattoo Moto, which lives on in its glory and resplendent beauty.
Yeah, and thank you to Gray for bringing it over. Thanks to T up at T's Eurocycle for letting us have that beautiful V7 Moto Guzzi.
Yeah, 2020 Moto Guzzi is a good looking motorcycle. Fun to ride. Nate getting off the lawn.
Basil for the news. And you for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Give us a good show. Give us a little subscribe or two, and we really appreciate it. And we will see you next time with another one.
We did it.
All right. We're scrambling here at the end. Ta-da! He's so easily entertained. He's like a child.